Hi, I'm Brian Gleason. I have the responsibility of running North America for Xaxis, and we are happy to be back for year 2. So we're going to spend the next 2 days talking about data, but for the next 10 minutes, what I want to focus on is 3 components. What do we actually do with the data? Number 2 would be are there different types of data? And number 3 would be what does that actually mean for our clients? But I think the first key output to focus on is, why is data changing our business? And it's doing so with programmatic media buying. We hear it all the time, and we see this trend. And the trend is because it offers a great deal of efficiency and accuracy. But just how far will it go? Will all digital media buying become programmatic? It's not too far to be able to think that even a few years ago we didn't have programmatic buying, but today it makes up nearly 27% of all US media buying. It's a big number in nearly 3 to 4 years. But what's driving it? Is it just display? No, it's video as well. Video will make up nearly 40% of the growth this year. Going next year, it'll be up to 65%. And by the year 2016, we're going to be up to nearly 52% of all media bought in the US is going to be bought and sold programmatically. And the cool thing to think about that is, what does that actually mean? That means that everything we're talking about for the next few days actually works, right? Because data is the fuel that drives this. But why? If I look to it, I think you had a big session this morning on personalization. Personalization is the key to programmatic buying. If I look at this page, you can understand someone comes to the page, a female, probably age 24 to 32, fits a certain demographic. When she gets to the page, she sees an appropriate content, an appropriate ad. The next individual, a guy, maybe a little bit like myself, except more hair, but when he comes to the page, he actually sees something appropriate for him. That's personalized messaging. And the last would be a mom who comes to it and she sees an ad appropriate to her. Data allows all these things to take place. It allows programmatic buying and audience buying to happen, and it's a key ingredient. But if I look to that, this is something that we've been knowing for a while, right? The more that I can personalize or speak to someone is something we've been doing for retail forever. Someone walks into a store, right? They come in and we make certain inferences about who that individual is, what they look like, what bags they're carrying, have they bought from us in the past. But when I go to digital, how can I actually do that? The data or the signals that they put out gives me information on how to tailor my message to them. And in this example, you can see the first one, great, they fit my demo. The next one being is, this woman has searched fashion sites. The third being, she searched for Susan. Fourth, oh, by the way, she matches one of my customers. So the message or the way that I can engage with her is much different than I would if I didn't have those data signals. That's everything that we're focusing on today. It's everything that customers want and what clients are trying to get is, how do I understand those signals? If I can do that, it creates a great deal of opportunity. Because again, we've seen the power of digital media, we've seen the power of data, but it's a very complex puzzle to begin to put together. And there's different components to the puzzle. And what we think of, or what I look at is, how do I put together? It's almost if you've ever, I've got 2 kids, when I come back and you dump those puzzle pieces out and you're like, I thought it was a 10-piece set. It's like a 2,000-piece set. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. You start to separate them and build a system behind that. For digital buying, that's a platform, right? That's the table that you're sitting on. And the different components of that platform are important. The first one is an auction-based environment. The cool thing about data and programmatic buying is I can decide in real time how much that individual is worth to me. And I bid on them. The second one would be okay, data actionability. How do I match up my CRM database, right, with the actions online, with, there's different currencies, so I have to put it all in one currency. The third would be how do I understand in real time what to do with that data? And lastly, it would be transparency. The great thing about digital buying and data is I'm given dashboards. I can see what's happening in real time and be able to react to that. But if I look to data as being the currency to that engine, someone really have to think about. Think of it as different languages, right? It's easy to sit back and we talk for a few days about, hey, here's what big data is. How cool is this? But when you start to think about, okay, how do I put everything together? How do I think about things like viewability? How do I think about my CRM database? How do I think about a third-party provider? How do I understand what all those things are? We have to break them down to actions. Everywhere we go and everything we do online leaves a trail, right? It leads from what I eat to what I've gone to what I buy. But this isn't new. We've always had, for those of you who are ridden with debt like myself and have multiple car payments and a mortgage and other things, they seem to magically know when that car is being renewed or when that mortgage needs to be refinanced. that data is available, right? They know then, too, what I do online. So again, these segments start to be coming together to say, where am I going and what am I doing and the attributes that fit myself. So now that we've understood that, it goes to what are the different types of data. And if I understand data, one that we talk about all the time is first-party data. That's the data that the client owns, right? That's the data that's their proprietary asset for their campaigns or their CRM. The second is a new term, which would be second-party data. That's owned by the platform. So it's outside of our campaigns, where I've gone, what I've done. It's almost the glue, though, to start to stitch some of these things together. The third is third-party data. And that could be data from an independent provider. Take a credit card company who is surfacing information on who I am or what I've bought. Putting those together is the key to be able to link what the story will be or what the action will be. And we think about the next few days or 2 days of big data. It's not all about big data, right? Big data is, if you just think about that term, we've had that forever. And inside the organization, it really focuses on what is the right data. And if I can figure out the few key attributes that are going to bring me closer to my customer, that's what I really want. And it could be, what is the last signal that I know that hey, if I understand this, I can understand what the next transaction will be. It's almost like a recommendation engine, if you will. When I go to Amazon and they have an understanding of what I'm going to purchase next, that's the right data on what I've purchased in the past. To take it one step further, what I want to be able to do is walk through what we've built at Xaxis. And I'm not going to belabor too much, but we announced a proprietary system called Turbine. And what data does, it takes us out of that big box mentality, and it puts us in a predictive mode. So to be able to understand not only what's happened, but what will happen next. And I want to share with you a quick little video about what Turbine is. You get the music going. Hopefully that was helpful. That was our big animal picture version of what it actually is. But we spent the last 3 years explaining what data can actually do. It's our job, it's what we focus on. And it is essentially the brain. We talk about data, and the coolest thing is if you're into data and you're a data geek like me, they talk about the magic being lost from advertising. There's nothing cooler when you find that secret segment or that data that you've looked at, and it's that last piece to the puzzle that you've put together, and you say, I got it, right? I figured it out. There was something or some unknown that we were able to capture, to understand, to bring us closer or solve that problem. Turbine allows us to do that. It's our predictive model that we're able to put in, and it's able to bring some of the magic back to that experience. And the nice thing is, at the end of the day, it has what we're all looking for, and that's results. I want to share a case study in my last minute here, which is, this is from an advertiser we had recently. With the goal, they were a retailer. And for them, it was all about back to school. And the focus was, hey, I've got to really focus on these 3 weeks because this is what matters to me. It's going to make or break my company. It makes or break our year. So what we did is you could look to the graph and say, no live campaign. I wouldn't be showing this if that was after the campaign, but you can see our campaign went live on May 14th, and the results were a significant spike, and Turbine powered that. The solution, or what we tried to do, is we looked to say, how do we find out and predictive about who our customers' clients were and find them of where they were going during that back-to-school season. The results that we were able to come up with were successful. We had a 41% lower CPA than a third-party data provider, a 34% lower CPA than a performance network, and 52% higher ROI. So over the next few days, when we think about why data is important and how we put the pieces of the puzzle together, the reason is this: because when you do, the magic happens. And the magic for us in a world of data is results. It's what drives our business. And we're able to deliver results in this, taking a CPO from 1237 down to 817. And thank you once again to be able to sponsor this conference. We have a whole team outside. We could talk about this for hours and hours, but if you're looking for what we think the magic to data and actually bringing you closer to your customers, that's everything we focus on at Xaxis. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the next couple days.